Hey guys, so today I kind of wanted to just talk about some things, just have a little bit of a chit chat with you. So let's see, where do I want to start with this? You know how people are always sitting there and saying, the whole point of life, the mystery of life is to figure out what you were put on this earth to do. And, there's a reason everybody has, So maybe, I was thinking more so lately that maybe there's not just one reason and you can do more than one thing in your life. Like if you pick one career path, you don't have to stick with that. Maybe, you do it, you do what you came to do with that, and then you go on and do something else. Like, you guys know I worked at Payless for a while, which, not even a year, but I worked at Payless, and that was actually one of my dream jobs, was to work at Payless, because, hello, shoes. And I did, and I helped 2 different women pick out wedding shoes. I've helped pick out baby's first shoes. And the thing with the wedding shoes, there's one woman who was just wearing like flip-flops or something for her whole wedding because she didn't want to wear the heels, and you don't really blame her. You go to like prom and stuff, and everybody buys these fancy shoes, and they take them off like 20 minutes in, and they're like over on the floor, and you're not even wearing them. So definitely shoes for a wedding. So she just wanted to buy like a cheap pair of heels or something to look good in her wedding pictures, and had me help her pick out. Out of 2 of them, she showed me a picture of her dress, and she's like, hey, these are the 2 I'm debating on, and I made the final decision for her. And that is really exciting to me because, years down the road when she's looking through her wedding pictures or showing her kids or something, she's going to see those shoes and remember where she got them. And, maybe she won't remember where she got them. Maybe she won't remember me or that I even helped her pick them out. But I remember that. I feel good about myself that I helped somebody do that. It's like, you make all these goals for yourself in life, and like helping somebody pick out shoes. Like I always want to inspire people. That's one of my biggest goals in life, and to help people, not necessarily in a conventional way, like just kind of inspire them or like, be an aha moment for them or something. And so at Payless, I wanted to do something like that. And so once I did that, I felt like, my job was kind of complete there. Like, not that like they didn't need me anymore, but that I could go on and do something else. I could go work at a different store or something. You guys know what I mean, kind of. So that was like an accomplishment in my life. Going to school and graduating was a huge accomplishment in my life. And there were times where I didn't want to stay at that school. I didn't want to be there. I had so much going on in my life that was just constant negative things that resulted in me not going to school a lot because I just wouldn't go because I was too stressed out, because I was dating somebody who was really bad for me and brought a lot of negative things to my life. And we would have like screaming fights and stuff, and it was an extremely unhealthy relationship, and I can see that now. But in knowing that it was so unhealthy, I know the steps to make sure that I don't have unhealthy relationships in my life. And let me tell you, my relationship with Zach is very healthy. I married him, so it has to be healthy because I wouldn't have married him if it wasn't. But anyway, so I didn't go to school a lot, and there was times, there was 2 different times that they were like trying to kick me out. There was actually like 3, but the 3rd one wasn't my fault. But that's a different story. They wanted to try to, like, you can't miss more than like 14 consecutive days, and I did, and so they were trying to kick me out, and I had to write these letters to the administrator and stuff, and the director, and saying why I should be able to stay and how I'm going to change my life and make sure that my actions are kind of, so I didn't get kicked out ever, and I graduated. And if I wouldn't have stayed, there were several times where I was like, you know what, I'm just not going to stay. I don't want to be here. I don't want to come do this. But something was always kind of pulling me to stay, and there was times where I didn't have a reason to stay, and I did stay. All of my friends were gone. They all graduated, got their internships, got their careers, and I was there with people starting and like new faces every 6 weeks. And if I wouldn't have stayed, I wouldn't have met Zach. So there's that. But, I mean, he's not even in the medical field now. I mean, he did some medical stuff before he went to school there. Went to school there to learn x-ray because he already knew all the medical assisting stuff. He pretty much could teach all the classes. I had one medical assisting class with him, and he was pretty much teaching that class because our teacher was just a piece of shit. So, he went there to learn the x-ray stuff, and then, you know, did that at his internship, and he's like, okay, cool, I did this, now I'm going to move on to something else. So, the way I see it is, like, I feel like you should be able to pick different things. Like, you know, when you're little and you say, oh, I want to be a teacher, and then, like, 2 years later, you're like, oh, I want to be a singer, oh, I want to be a nurse, oh, I want to be this. Like, you can sit there and, you know, maybe you went to school to be a teacher, and, you know, you taught for a few years, you helped some kid, you know, you had some breakthrough with a kid, you know, you did whatever you wanted to really do, your really, really big goal, and then you're like, well, maybe I want to go be a nurse now. So then you go back to school and be a nurse. Like, I see absolutely no problem with that. I think it is perfectly acceptable if you want to just rework your life in order to do what you want to do, because it is your life. It shouldn't be about trying to make other people happy. It shouldn't be about trying to fulfill other people's things. It should be about trying to fulfill yourself, so that when you die one day, you know, when you're sitting there thinking about your life, you're not like, oh, well, I wish, you know, I was a teacher and it was great, but I wish I could have had the chance to be a nurse or something. Like, I don't want to live my life with what ifs, and I think that that's kind of the point that I'm at now. I do enjoy my job. I enjoy blood draws. I think they're pretty fun, and that's actually something I was like, oh, I don't want to do blood draws. And, like, I went to school for x-ray and not MA because I didn't want to do blood draws. And now I enjoy doing them. I think they're fun. I think it's always extremely fun when people come to me and they're like, oh, you're not going to get me. And I get them, like, the first try, and they're like, oh, wow, you're really good. So that's really exciting to me, and I really enjoy hearing that and getting, you know, the positive feedback on that every day, because I had such a struggle with it to begin with, and had some people get mad at me, and it wasn't my fault really, but, you know, I had a bad teacher. Not teacher at school, but, you know, intern teacher. But anyway, so I feel like, you know, because I've seen a lot of people on YouTube and stuff too who've been saying, you know, that they're not, who've started their channel like as a fashion or beauty channel, calling themselves beauty gurus, and coming out and saying that they're not obsessed with makeup and don't want to make just makeup related videos because they're not happy with the content that they're putting out on their YouTube. And, you know, they're still going to do some makeup videos like, oh, hey, look, I went to Sephora, I'm going to show you what I got because I'm really excited about it. But it's not going to be like every week, okay, here's a routine video, here's a tutorial, here's the makeup collection video, because, you know, it's just the same. And I mean, you can kind of see that everywhere. Now, I am not saying that. I enjoy my channel. I haven't put enough beauty content in it, so I'm not happy with the quality of my videos because of that. One of my goals for this year is to do more YouTube and blogging and stuff, and I'm actually working on kind of rebranding it so that it's Marceroni Makeup, so everybody knows me as Marceroni Makeup, but then I've got like Healthroni, Marceroni Motivation, stuff like that, and Marceroni Motivation is what this is falling under. But yeah, definitely not quitting YouTube or anything. Not that anybody would even care, except for me. I'd be like heartbroken, so heartbroken. Huh. Yeah. Where was I going with that? Oh, but I think, you know, I've seen some videos, like Megan Rosette posted one recently that said that she wants to do her own kind of videos and is like asking her viewers and stuff, you know, hey, I hope you guys don't mind if I do this, and it shouldn't really be about that. Like, I came to YouTube for myself. I didn't come because I was like, oh my god, I want to get 1 million followers, and I'm gonna, like, everybody's gonna recognize me in the street, and I'm gonna go out and it's gonna be like, Marcy, you're Marceroni Makeup, and oh my god. Like, no, I didn't do that for that. I did it for myself. I did it because I needed an outlet, and I had such really horrible self-esteem issues and self-worth issues. This will be another video because it'll be the reason I got into YouTube, was all of that. But, and I couldn't stand up in front of a class and do an oral presentation at all. I couldn't talk to guys. I could barely talk to my girlfriends because I was so shy. And you can go back. I'm never going to take my private of them or take them off. I'm never going to take off my first few videos because I want to see how far I've come myself, and just watching them myself, it's absolutely insane seeing how far I've come. And I really enjoy it when other people leave that, you know, their first videos on there so you can see, you know, their first kind of awkward videos, because everybody starts somewhere. You know, so if you're looking to be a YouTuber, go back to their very first videos. You're like, oh, but I can never be like them. I can never have that many subscribers. I can never get that many views. I'm not confident enough. It would be dorky. Well, go back to somebody else's first video and see how dorky they looked, see how uncomfortable and awkward it was for them. Because let me tell you, it isn't easy to sit in front of a camera and talk to yourself. Now, it was a little bit easier for me because I kind of have conversations with myself in my head sometimes, you know. That's how it goes. But, so actually getting it out and being able to talk, kind of nice. It was awkward at first, not even gonna lie. So, yeah. But I feel like, you know, I'm gonna do more YouTube video. Oh, I know I'm gonna do more YouTube videos, but you shouldn't have to apologize for wanting to be yourself. You shouldn't have to apologize if you know, fulfilled one of your goals in life. You achieved something, and you want to go on and try something else, because you know you only live one time, and it's probably, I mean, like my grandpa died when he was 79 years old, and I used to think that 79 was, you know, old. And then when he died, it was like, wow, you know, that's not that long. It's only like, you know, 60 some more years than I am. And it's like, okay, I have 60, you know, saying I would die at 79. I have no idea when I'm going to die, obviously. But saying that I would die, you know, at 79, I have a lot of things that I want to do in that remainder of time. And being that you don't know when you're going to die, it could be, you know, 5 minutes after I finish this video, I really hope not. Or it could be, you know, 5 days from now, 5 weeks, 5 months, 5 years, 55 years, more than that. You don't know. You don't know how, you don't know when, you don't know where, given, you know, certain circumstances, but you don't know. So why not live your life to the fullest and do everything that you want to do, so when you are looking back on your life one day, you don't have, oh, what if I would have done this? Or, I mean, I know it doesn't exactly matter at that point, but I don't want to have regrets ever. I don't want to regret anything in my life ever. I want to, you know, I'd rather regret doing something than not doing something. Like climbing a 14er, we'll use that. So if I don't ever climb a 14er, then I'm going to lay on my deathbed one day and be like, dang, I really wish I could have seen what the top of the world looks like, or, you know, how much beauty is up there. And if I do climb a 14er and something really bad happens, then it's like, well, at least I tried, you know. And I wouldn't regret it, because it's not something to regret. Like going skiing, I don't regret that. Like, I haven't gone back since, and I only went on the bunny hill for like 45 minutes, and I got hurt, and it still hurts to this day, and I have to go get it checked out at some point, because Zach won't let me climb a 14er unless I do. But I don't regret going at all. I would regret not going, because that's something that I wanted to experience in my life. So I feel like you should, you know, you should be allowed to sit there and take all of the things that you want to do in your life and try to experience them. And I've seen so many people on Instagram and stuff lately who are going and doing these things that they want to do with their lives. And that's where I am right now. I'm 23 years old, and I will turn 24 in September, and I haven't done a lot of things in my life. And I know I've been through a lot. I've been through a lot of bad things. I've been through some happy things, but going from like when I was like 15 up until a couple of years ago, there's a lot of not so good things, and I want to kind of just take control of my life. I want to do what I want to do, because you don't get that much time, and it's very, very apparent when you see somebody die. It's like, okay, this is real. Death is actually a real thing. And I know that, like, realizing your own mortality is kind of difficult, and it's really, really, you know, it's not, I mean, sitting there and thinking, oh my gosh, I'm going to die someday, I'm just going to, like, go to sleep and never, ever, ever wake up, and you don't know what is on the other side of that. Nobody has any way of knowing what is on the other side of that. And with that being said, I mean, you want to get in as much as possible. Like, you know, some people think that the whole YOLO thing, I think, was taken way out of proportion, and it wasn't how it was meant to be. But I think that my watch is severely wrong. It says it's like 12. It's not. But I think that there's something else. What is it? Living like you're not going to die. Some people see that as a bad thing, like, oh my gosh, you know, how can you live like you're not going to die, because you're going to die someday. So I don't want to spend my time not doing things that I'm enjoying, not experiencing things. So that's kind of what I'm trying to say, is that I think it's time, I'm going to do YouTube and still, but I think it's time for, like, me to move on to other paths in my life, because I want to travel somewhat, mostly in the Jeep on off-road trails. Yeah, my idea of traveling, I don't really want to go out of the country, because I mean, it would be cool to see places like Italy and stuff, but I don't really want to go out of the country with the way that everything is, and so I'm okay with that. I'd go to Canada, but there's no Target there now, so I don't want to go to Canada because y'all suck. No, I'm just kidding. I would love to go to Canada. It's a huge bummer, and I'm definitely feeling really bad for you guys, because one of my coworkers actually moved, and she was talking about, like, you know, pharmacies and stuff, and her pharmacy was Target, and we were like, well, is there a Target there? She's like, oh yeah. I'm like, oh, that's good, because I wouldn't move somewhere if there wasn't a Target, you know. But I want to experience more things in my life. I want to do more things in my life. So if anybody took what I tweeted the other day about, you know, where I thought I was starting my life, started with a bunch of extreme sadness and negative energy and stuff, it's because when I started my internship, there was a lot of negative energy there, and then I had to take 2 weeks off because my grandpa died. So that's where the extreme sadness was, is because I had to go back to work, and I was thrown into kind of a position where, because they let the girl who was training me, their MA, go while I was out there that 2 weeks. So I came back. I didn't even have time to process his death. I didn't have time to mourn at all. And it was like, you know, that Monday after, because my school was threatening to kick me out, and they didn't even care. They're like, oh, well, I'm sorry, but, you know, you're going to get kicked out. And so I had to, you know, have a huge talk with my office manager and have them call them, and, you know, they were like, you know, it's fine. We know she's out there. It's fine. You know, her grandpa died. And so I came back, and they were like, okay, she's gone, you're our MA now. And it was a very interesting situation. It was really exciting at first, because it was like, oh my gosh, you know, something so negative happened, but something so positive happened. And I see it now that it was not exactly the way that I wanted that to go, because like I said, I didn't have time to grieve him. And it was a lot of stress that first few months, and the patients were kind of like, oh my god, you know, because when I'm like dying. When you have a doctor, you know, who you see frequently for whatever condition and stuff, you get comfortable with the people. You get comfortable, you know, because you're not just going to stick your arm out and let anybody draw your blood, because you want to trust them. You don't want to get hurt. You want to know that you are in good hands. So even if you are like the biggest sweetheart, the nicest person in the world, if you go in there and it's like, oh my gosh, who is this? You know, and being the intern was hard enough. Being thrown into, okay, the other girl's gone, and she drew your blood the best, and I can't draw your blood because she never taught me how. Here I am, I'm your MA now. Like, that was extremely difficult. I had so much stress on my plate, and I was still doing my internship, so I wasn't getting paid for it. So I didn't have money. I was so upset and stressed, and I had to just kind of push that down and work through the stress of that job. And it was great, and now that I've gotten through it, you know, like I said, I can do blood draws like it's nobody's business, and it's really enjoyable because my patients trust me, and, you know, some of them still don't really like me just because that girl was there for like 6 years, so you get attached to some people. But that's how it's going to go everywhere. You know, you can start and be, you know, people don't like people sometimes. It's fine. But I feel like I have done what I want to do there, other than teaching somebody else. Yeah. But I just basically am saying that I think if you feel like you want to try something new with your life, then by all means, go for it. Do whatever it takes to do as much as you can in your life, because you don't have that long to try things, to do things. And I mean, if you're like 55 years old and still stuck at the same job you've had for 20 some years, like, and you want to do something else, go do something else. You know, and you're thinking, oh, no, I can't, money's the problem, or, you know, figure out a way to do it. Like this, I'm not going to go be a personal trainer or anything, because I don't want to do that. But I would definitely enjoy doing the whole health-roni thing and like inspiring people, because I've had people ask me questions and stuff like, oh, you've lost so much weight, how did you do it? And instead of just being like, oh yeah, I did this, this, and this, they're not actually going to listen to you. So, but having it on a YouTube video, having it on a blog, they're going to read it. They can get inspiration from that, and it's a great thing. So that's kind of how I'm getting one of my life achievement things out there, is through YouTube and my blog, which is really exciting for me. And there's some other things I want to do, which I will probably talk about later, because they're not exactly set in stone yet. But that's just kind of what I'm saying. I'm trying to kind of give you guys a little insight, which is what I was saying with that also, is that the whole negative energy thing, it started with negative energy, and it got better, and now it's kind of stressed again, and I haven't been as happy doing that. And that's what I was talking about. It has nothing to do with like Zach or my home life or anything, because, you know, he read it and he was like, oh, you know, and he was sitting by me when he read it, so it wasn't like, oh my gosh, but he was like, you know, you need to clarify on these things, because, you know, I don't want people thinking that it's about me, or I don't want to read it and think it's about me. And I was like, okay, sorry. So to clarify all of this, it's not about Zach yet. He's perfect. I love him. I could not love him anymore, I think. Probably will love him more. I love him more every day. Not really more every day, it's like the same, but like, you know what I mean. There's nobody else that I could ever want. I can't imagine my life without him. I don't know how I lived my 21 years without him. And I mean, I can see how it didn't work with everybody else. I can see reasons, and he was just perfect for me, and I love him to death. I'll never not love him. But yeah, so that's kind of, you know, where I'm going with that. So just don't be afraid to try new things. Don't be afraid to just say screw it all and just go do something else because you want to do something else. Because like I said, it's your life. You know, like if you know, I don't know, don't let other people stop you. Don't let other people influence you to do something because they think it's right for you. Do whatever makes you happy. Find something that makes you happy and do that. Find something that, you know, makes you feel happy to be alive every day. I've heard so many people talk about how their jobs are so miserable and they hate going to work. Well, find a job that you love and enjoy. And it's like Zach was telling me, you know, that everybody's jobs suck and that's how it's supposed to be. You know, you just work and get the money and you die. It's like, no, I don't want to just work to get money to die. I want to enjoy what I do, you know, and it's not that I don't enjoy what I do, but just keep that in mind. So, yeah. I'll keep you guys updated on this because I'm not exactly going to say some things now, but I hope you guys all take that into consideration and do you. That's what that means, okay? Do you. Like, not, oh, I'm going to be a crazy person. Like, do you. Do whatever makes you happy. You know, you can ask other people for advice and stuff, that's fine, but don't take every piece of advice that people give you, like, with a grain of salt, I guess. I don't know. Like, take everybody's ideas and thoughts and advice into consideration, but in the end, at the end of the day, Make it your decision. Don't say, oh, well, you know, my mom wants me to do this, but I really want to do this. Or, you know, my friend says that this is bad, but, you know, I shouldn't do that because I'm not going to make money. Like, you got to make your own mistakes, you know. Sometimes you can learn from other people's mistakes, but mostly you have to make your own. And if you quit your job and, like, go somewhere and it's a dead-end thing and you make no money and you lose everything for it, at least you tried. You know, you tried to do something that was going to make you happy. Or if it makes you happy and it still fails, made you happy. You did something, you tried something, you did something else you wanted to do in your life, because you have to do all the things that you want to do in your life because it's your life. And you don't want to have what ifs when you die. That's what I'm saying. And so far, I've done so much in the last since I was 21, I've done so much, you know, after having met Zach and stuff. Like, I definitely don't plan on having any what ifs in my life. So that is your Motivation Monday, yo. And yeah, so I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you take something away from it. Let me know what you want to do. Let me know something that you feel like you can't do, maybe, and we can figure out a way to help you do it. Yes, I love all of you, and like, what, 16 of you? Yeah. Whatever. Bye, guys.